Hi, welcome to Lachlan Likes a Thing, a show where I take a thing and see whether or not I like it. Now the thing that we're going to be looking at today is the Sony XBA-1 balanced armature earphones. Now what's a balanced armature? It's a really cool piece of technology that you may not have heard of. Now with most earphones, speakers and headphones, they use what's called a dynamic driver to make sound. And what a dynamic driver is basically this unit here. It's a speaker diaphragm that is pushed back and forward by a set of magnets. A balanced armature works on a different principle. A balanced armature suspends a piece of metal and armature between two magnets, and the change in magnetic field is what causes that piece of metal to oscillate, and that produces the sound. Now it used to be that you would only find balanced armatures in much more expensive earphones, and they would put several balanced armatures into the same earphone, and the reason for this is as follows. A balanced armature driver, because it uses such a small moving element, is able to really accurately and precisely reproduce the sound wave, but because the armature is so small, it's not able to really convincingly move enough air to produce low frequency notes. So what they would generally do is that they would use several armature drivers, and they would get a crossover to send the high frequency sounds, the treble, to one driver, and the bass frequency sounds, the low frequency, to another driver, or they would even add more drivers onto that. Sony has come along and said that they've designed their balanced armatures from the ground up for high-end audio and not for hearing aid applications, which is what a lot of balanced armature drivers were originally designed for. And so they say that they're able to get around a lot of the limitations and make one balanced armature driver produce a really wide range of sound. The Sony XBA-1 sits at the bottom of Sony's XBA lineup with one single full range balanced armature driver. There are XBA-2s, XBA-3s and XBA-4s which add more balanced armatures to the bottom and the top just to fill in that extra space, but Sony says that the full range driver in the XBA-1 carries through the entire range, and it's the foundation of their sound. Now this is a pretty big claim for Sony, who's just started making balanced armature drivers. They've traditionally been associated with making really good dynamic driver earphones. The 7550 and the EX1000 are personal favorites of mine, but the balanced armature line does appear to be Sony's plan going forward with their in-ear earphones, so it's worth a look to see whether their claim of being able to produce a good sound out of a single balanced armature driver is true. Now taking a closer look, you can see that the XBA-1 is a very small earphone. You get Sony's really nice silicon hybrid tips, and they're really soft and comfortable. The great thing is that they come in many sizes in the package, and they're color coded, so that because all Sony's earphones use these hybrid tips, you're able to know what's your size in a Sony earphone basically. We have here a plastic body. It's pretty well built, but not as nice as some of the other earphones that I've seen in this price point, which use full metal construction. That said, they're very light and comfortable, so that's really nice. They have this elliptical cable, so it's not quite flat, it's not quite round, it's like linguine. It's pretty good and doesn't tangle very easily, and then you just have this 90-degree plug here, which is cool. Nice and simple, but pretty well built. One thing to note is that there isn't a great deal of strain relief at the earpiece side of the cable, so that's a bit worrying, I guess. The other thing to note about the XBA-1s is that the version without the microphone uses a J-type cable, and that means that one side of the cable is shorter than the other side. Now, some people hate J-type cables. I personally quite like them. It means that you can wrap the earphone around the back of your neck, and you can wear them like that, which is really nice. But the problem with the J-type cables is that they're slightly more heavy on one side than they are on the other, and that means you get a slightly uneven amount of pressure on your ears, and that can be irritating for some people. Now, the XBA-1s, the question is, how do they sound? Well, they sound pretty good. They're able to do what Sony claims. They're able to produce a pretty wide range of frequencies out of a single balanced armature driver. There's still a lot of information missing in the bass that doesn't give it that punch, that visceral response. There's still quite a lot of sparkle and air missing in the highs, but overall they're warmish, they are very relaxing to listen to, and they're nice. The main problem with their sound is that they have this kind of fuzziness and this haze, which means that they really lack clarity. They're not able to produce a tremendously accurate soundstage as a result. Compared to a lot of dynamic driver earphones around the price point, they're not the greatest in terms of clarity. Sony's advantage with the XBA-1 is that it's a light, comfortable, easy to live with earphone, and because they're a big name, it's very easy to find the XBA-1s all over the place. I like the XBA-1s, I keep them in my bag as spare backup earphones just in case I've forgotten to bring out my other pairs, but they're not my main listening earphone and I don't consider them anything special for their price point. If you want something special, I suggest you look at the new Hi-Fi Man RE400 or the JVC FXD80. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who's liked my other videos and subscribed to the channel, and enjoy the rest of your week.